Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome. Starting over. I hit the wrong button. Take two. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to episode 540 of the DrunkNerds podcast. I'm here as always. I'm Tyler, and join me. We have the man, the myth, the legend himself, Sir Colonel Gables. I was pointing the wrong way. I'm a mess. I'm a mess.
Well, you know what? I'm doing pretty good. Really, I am. Work week was fine. Playing a lot of Metroid Prime Remastered, and I'm pretty much liking that shit.
Noise.
But at that same time, man, I mean, hey, it's going pretty good. Bunch of good games are going to be coming out in the next couple of weeks. Bunch of fun demos and stuff that are launching and stuff. And other than that, though, it's been going pretty good. How have you been doing, Tyler?
Doing all right, me clanging and banging as always. It was a nice little week here. Things have been slightly normal at work lately, a little too normal, as Raph would say from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Um, but I did get a fun little beer here. I haven't got this in a long time, Gables.
Yeah.
I know you're a big fan of it because it has your name on it. So
What?
yeah, Gable.
It's
Uh, so
the Gable beard.
yeah, so for audio listeners, I'm drinking a beer called Gable. Um, Fun fact, it's actually brewed here in Iowa. Fun fact, the billboard outside of my work place
Yeah.
advertises that beer, and it says Iowa Legend, named after the Iowa legend Gable. I have no idea who this person is. I need to look into this. But every day when I get off work, I stop at the stop sign. I look up because it's right, and because I pull up on the bridge, and I look up and just see the advertisement for it. I'm like, Iowa Legend Gable. I'm like, what the fuck's going on with that one? So I got a couple times before. I'm not gonna lie to you. The beer is okay, but I'm just doing it for the bit at this point. But I'm gonna take a little quick sip here. Sorry for you guys.
Dude, that's pretty funny because it's like today while I was walking through Walmart and stuff, granted, anytime I've gone to a store and there's like it has like items or something with like people's names or something on them and stuff, I was always the one that's like, you know what? My name is really that common or something like that. It's like I never find my name or something on any of the items or any of the things itself. Then I walked through Walmart today and I'm looking through the bike plates like, oh, there's my full name. Like, what? Okay, I'm buying this. This is actually a rarity.
Bagno and everything.
No,
Oh,
no, no,
it's
no,
like
no, no,
that'd
no,
be
no, no, no,
excellent if it was your
no, no,
full.
no, no. That'd be creepy.
Yeah.
Like, how the hell did they get my last name?
Little did you know, I've been selling the podcast off your name value. There is
Oh my
Gable
gosh,
Gear, Gables. Oh my God.
Gable Gear.
There's Gable Gear. Oh
Oh,
my
that's
God.
funny.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. What do we got here? Oh, they don't actually have any. Why would you say that then? Damn, I'm sorry. I flipped out.
You name it Gable
I
Gear,
just
and all
go
of a
here and
sudden it's
sorry,
like
there's no
something.
products in this collection. But why is there an option to buy it? Get on the website here.
I wonder, is there like a bunch of iced coffee? Is there a bunch of things like that? And no, Windows, you will not restart at this time.
Uh, so here's the thing we got here. Gable. One word can say so much. In our city, few words, if any, resonate with the force Gables does. In commemoration of the Olympic triumph from Munich 1972, we've crafted a beer much more approachable than adversaries found Dan to be on the mat. Clean, crisp, and gold. We can't think of a more fitting tribute. You know what? A fucking men. Amen to these guys. Mm. 10 out of 10. Single speed brewery. It's out of,
Hmm.
I believe, Waterloo, it said, Iowa. It's a little bit of a trek, but hey, I'll have to go there now. It's just out of and tell them about the legend of Sir Colonel Gables. Maybe you guys are related.
Ah, maybe.
Maybe.
Let's see. Let's pause updates here for.
Oh, is your computer trying to update on you?
It's trying to, but I am trying to be smarter than the computer.
Yeah.
We're gonna set this for another 3 weeks.
There you go. I always just set it for 2 a.m.
Yeah, I never usually keep my computer on, so
Oh,
it's
okay.
usually off after I get that. Okay, your device won't be updated until 3:18.
Yeah.
Here, okay.
Yeah. All right. Well, that was a fun little trek there. I learned some shit about Gables here. Didn't know Gables defeated the Nazis in Munich, Germany in 1972. Um,
Oh no,
yeah.
1972. How the hell did I time travel back to
I don't know, Gables.
1972?
I played Wolfenstein. I've seen some crazy shit. Okay. Maybe in that universe the Nazis won, and you were born in the 60s, at maybe 50s, and then you came in as a amateur wrestler and beat the shit out of the Nazis. You suplex Adolf Hitler into the Aurora Borealis.
Could you just imagine there's some just random Gables or some walking in the backyard one day and all of a sudden coming across a mysterious phone booth and all of a sudden it transports me to fucking Germany in that time?
Yeah. Some reason he's got a DeLorean. I don't know why.
Oh.
Where we're going, we don't need roads. Just
The Aurora
yeah.
Borealis.
Man, that's a movie right there. We made so many movies. Oh man, what are we doing with our lives?
It's
We
like
should write
at this
scripts.
time of year, it's like at this time of year, in this moment, in this it's like, yes. It's like, may I see it? No.
Yeah. You know what? I'm gonna replay Wolfenstein, but in my mind, instead of B.J. Blazkowicz, that's gonna be Colonel Gables.
This is kind of making me want to watch that Simpsons episode about Seymour Skinner or someone with like freaking steamed hams. That's the episode I was quoting for those that were wanting to know why I was rambling for a moment. But
It's what we do here. It's what we do. Rambling is all we know. We should call this the Drunken Ramble. I'm in a much better podcast name. Drunken Mess. I don't know. But anyways, this is a video game podcast where we hang out every week and talk about video games. And sometimes learn some things about Gables and his time traveling abilities. If you're enjoying this, please like, follow, subscribe. But if you're watching us, we are live on YouTube right now. We record usually every Saturday night around this time, around 10ish Central Time, 8 o'clock Pacific Time. Kind of waivers. It depends on how long we bullshit for before we hop on YouTube live here. But yeah, if you enjoy all that, please like, follow, subscribe. Also, if you look down in the show notes in the description down below, you can see links to all of our socials, we're podcast services that we're available on, all that fun stuff. So please, like I said, go those places, follow, subscribe, wherever you were, Twitter, Facebook, all that. So and share. Share is probably the most important thing you do for us. But anyways, thank you guys so much for listening. Let's get on, Gables, with the news. It's been a pretty heavy news week. But I figure before we get into like the stuff that we know about, let's do maybe the most fun part. Sometimes the
yeah.
fun part about this is predicting rather than talking about what we know. And in this case, we talked about this last week. We told we completely mid podcast like, oh shit, there's gonna be a present essentially probably on the 27th. Lo and behold, here it is. Like every other year, there's a Pokemon
All
Presents,
right.
6 a.m. Pacific time. Gables, your favorite time. It's gonna be about 20 minutes long. This is on Monday. It's gonna be doing this the 27th. No real details, but it kind of looked like they were teasing stuff from the little images that we seen. Where like you can see some green or blue, red, and yellow, and it's like teasing some Gen 1 stuff here. I wrote down some like stuff that could be there. It's about 20-minute long thing, and these things could be totally random. Like we've seen ones where they like, why was this the thing? Like, hey, we're selling T-shirts. Here's Pokemon Brush Your Teeth.
Oh my god.
It's like,
Or those specific type of like dress shirts where they just have individual
yeah.
Pokemon things in the Pokemon Center.
Remember
Yeah,
the one
it's
the one dude that came out and talked about the new Godzilla movie coming out in theaters? That
yeah,
was
and that
so
was during
weird.
that middle. That was so weird because it was all in the middle of advertising the thing for Pokemon Sleep.
Yeah, it was yeah, it was like maybe the most entertaining of all of them, but it was probably as newsworthy. It was probably the worst one. Then there was then they did like one I remember they did that one, and like 2 weeks later they did like another one. And they announced the Pokemon
Yeah.
mobile game and new Pokemon Snap just out of nowhere. It's like, hey,
Yep.
it's coming next year. It's like, what? Really? Um, so yeah, these things could be, but I feel like the last few years they've been pretty good. So I'd say since like at least 2020, yeah, I guess, because 2020, I guess we got new Pokemon Snap. 2021, they oh no 2021 they announced Pokemon Arceus. 2022 they announced Scarlet and Violet. Um,
Yeah.
so I feel like and then like we've seen ones where they announced like Gen 1 coming to 3DS, stuff like that. So I feel like the last few years they've raised the bar. So um, some of the stuff I kind of wrote down that like are possible, and you kind of tell me what you think here. The Gen 1 games coming to Nintendo online services, like
That is definitely a strong possibility because it's actually been found inside the source code of like Nintendo Switch Online, and it's entirely possible apparently, of getting that link function to work on Nintendo Switch
Yeah,
Online.
that's something they with the Pokemon Stadium stuff. Like they found like they like an update or something in the back end where like you can actually be able to like transfer your Gen One Pokemon to Pokemon Stadium. So that'd be awesome. That's a thing.
It would be incredible. I mean, that's something I have not been able to do in like over 20 some odd years. That was something I did almost all the time when I had my 64 copy of Pokemon Stadium, had red, blue, and yellow, had a fun time. I would actually use that more or less to try to play the Game Boy games on my 64 because
yeah,
that was quintessentially what you did
yeah, that was the way to
like
do it.
back then.
Yeah, like oh, and
That was
like
the way to do it.
putting your Gen One Pokemon in Stadium was like the only fun thing because let's face it, Pokemon Stadium not a very good game. Like the best,
Except for the mini
the
games,
mini
though.
games, yeah, the Rattata mini game was amazing. But like
They had the Rattata one. You had like the whole
the
like
Sandshrew,
Metapod and Kakuna
yeah,
one and stuff that was pretty fun. And plus the whole like I don't know. I think I'm talking about Stadium 2 when it came. Oh, the Sandshrew mini game I
yeah, the
liked
one you
too.
dig, yeah, that was awesome. Yeah, like the mini games were like the best part of that stuff. Who would have thought Nintendo make good mini games? Um,
And it never made sense to me, like when Nintendo went through and advertised, like, okay, they're going to be bringing like Pokemon Stadium and stuff like that to the thing. Well, guess what? It's like the major function of why Pokemon Stadium was a great release, say back then and stuff, is because you had access to the Game Boy Pokemon games that if you bought them and had the transfer pack, which by the way I still own to this day, you freaking had the option to transfer Pokemon, not just to the Pokemon Stadium games to register them because let me tell you, you try using the rental Pokemon and that those games, they're
sucked. Yeah,
trash.
it was.
They're trash.
Yeah, because I remember renting because I never like actually officially owned that game. So like I'd always rent it, but then you had to pay extra to rent the transfer pack as well. And I remember
Yeah,
like,
that's
yeah, I remember the
ridiculous.
first time I rented it, they didn't have a transfer pack, so I just played the game. I'm like, this sucks. And then like, I remember I rented it again, and then they had the transfer pack, and I played it, and I was like, this is much better. It's still not good, but it's much better. You know. Um, but yeah, I don't know. I feel like the Gen One stuff is like, I feel like that's got to be pretty likely. Even though like we talked about it when they announced the Game Boy stuff coming to NSO, yeah, NOS, whatever the fuck it's called. Um, we like it was weird that they weren't in there, but like we know Pokemon Company does their own thing sometimes, so maybe they're
Right.
like, yeah, no, you cool that you're doing this. Well, we're gonna put these out in our own time, and maybe that that could be the maybe the March games. Um, I don't think we'll get Gen 2. I feel like that's something they're probably gonna separate out.
Yeah, we're not going to get Gen 2 immediate. If we do, then that's probably going to be probably another, I would guess like another 6 months down the line. And that's if they want to go forth
Yeah,
with
I
the
could.
process of having you being able to transfer content from Nintendo Switch Online stuff to their Game Boy app, play through the ROMs of like red, blue, and yellow. Somehow allow them to be transferable to Pokemon Home, and then go
Yeah,
into the Pokemon Stadium stuff on the freaking N64 app. That's if Nintendo wants to do that. I mean,
yeah,
granted, if they do pull it off and it's seamless, I mean that's going to be incredible, especially when it comes to future game releases gone to their Game Boy stuff, and I'm referring to the Oracle of Seasons and Oracle of Ages because that also benefits from having those two games interlinked
yeah.
together
Because there's like
because
a
it unlocks
boss.
that dungeon.
Yeah, yeah. Well, and I was just thinking too, like the 3DS store shuts down in about a month. Um,
Yep.
so after that, you won't be able to officially play those games anymore. Uh,
Yeah, not officially.
yeah, or like at least access them unless you've already bought them. But after yeah, at March 27th or something like that, you won't be able to do that. So makes sense to have them there. Was Pokemon Stadium 2 after Gen 2?
Actually, it was during Gen 2 because
Yeah,
here you
so
had
but it's Gen 2 related.
yes, it's Gen 2 related,
So
Tyler.
I
Yes.
wonder maybe like because they announced like the next like 9 months of 64 games or something. It's
Hmm.
something like that. So maybe they like push that out, and when Pokemon Stadium 2 drops, they do Gen 2 with it as well.
That's possible. I mean, it's possible, but here's the thing. The only way I could see them possibly bringing Pokemon Stadium 2 by is if they do go ahead with a potential tie-in to like a Let's Go 2 or something like that in regards to the Gen 2 games. But I would think that would be a hard pill to swallow in regards to that.
Yeah.
I think it's more or less more of a possibility that we're just getting the Gen 1 I mean, it's strong chance Gen 1 on the Game Boy app, alongside compatible with Pokemon Stadium on the 64 app, and just have that way. I think
Yeah,
that's very strong. We'll see that.
yeah. Like the Let's Go Pichu and Togepi, whatever you want to call it, whatever it would be. Um, that to me is the pipe dream. Like that's the game I probably want outside of like Hideo Kojima making Metal Gear Solid 6 or finishing Metal Gear Solid 5. That's maybe the game I want more than anything. Is just like a gold and silver remake, like on like
Hmm.
with like even I'll even take the Let's Go shit. I paid $50 for that super fucking Pokeball. Let me use it again. Um, but yeah, like I feel like if there's anything I'm confident in happening at this thing, like that Gen 1 coming and like today or like this week or something like that, being the March games with Stadium, like that's to me the most likely. Something else I was thinking about too is like the Detective Pikachu. They announced they're porting to the Switch at that one we were joking about where they announced the T-shirt and Godzilla and all that shit.
Yep.
That was at I think it was 2019. Uh,
Yes, it was.
yeah, like
And we didn't hear anything
yeah,
about
they
it.
announced they're porting the 3DS version over and they're making a sequel. And we just haven't heard anything. And it's been 40 years now. And don't get me wrong, that Detective Pikachu game, I bought the game. That game was trash. That was not a good game. Um, but I'm curious how it would work on it, like what they do. Like I feel at this point, like and what this like what is if there's if they claim like they've talked about in the last year or so they're still making it. Like it's still happening. So maybe if it's actually still happening, like maybe we finally get a reveal about it now, and then maybe it's like, hey, Detective Pikachu, and it's coming in um, March or something like that. But I guess there's that Pokemon Mystery Dungeons too that leaked, um, so that's
Now, you
coming.
see, when it comes to that, I would say that that's more likely to be announced in this type of Pokemon Direct thing than it is, like, say, for oh gosh, the other alternative and stuff. Because it's like for like a spin-off thing and stuff like that. It's like Pokemon Mystery Dungeon. That I would feel that the fan base probably got that a little bit more. Not just got that, but I'm just embraced that a little bit more than say like a Detective Pikachu. I mean, granted, we could eventually see the announcement of say Detective Pikachu for Switch or a sequel coming out the Switch or whatever. But if the rumors are correct in regards to the whole like Pokemon Mystery Dungeon, another spin-off in that regards, I mean, we're gonna see it probably in that Pokemon Direct. I mean, it's not out of the realm of possibility.
Yeah, um, I don't know. I'm just trying to think of like because I don't think we're gonna get like a new major game from them.
No.
So I feel like at this point, if you're gonna talk about Detective Pikachu, it's like, or Mystery Dungeon. Like the last time, a couple years ago, the last Mystery Dungeon came out, they announced it, and then like it was out like 6 weeks later or something like that. So I can see that being the case for this. And like I said, Detective Pikachu, it's one of those things that's been like, it's kind of like I don't want to. I'm not trying to compare these games on the same scale of like Metroid Prime 4, but it's like a game that's been announced for so long. It's like, and you haven't talked about it really or haven't shown anything from it. It's like once you like reveal it, it's like I feel like at that point like it just needs to be out like in the next few months.
Right.
So maybe it's like maybe it's a summer game or something like that. Like you put like the Pokemon Mystery Dungeons out in like April, and then you put you know take Pikachu out in like June or something like that because
Right.
the Nintendo release slate's pretty light. Like well, I guess April we have Advance Wars, May we have Zelda, July we
Hmm.
have Pikmin.
Pikmin 4.
That's it. So maybe we can a couple of these games kind of fill in some spots. Pokemon Sleep. That game is that I mean app whatever you want to call it has never officially come out. So that was also 2019.
Uh
What a
yeah, dude.
weird.
I'm that
I
that
wonder. I need to go
that's
back and rewatch that because I feel like did anything of that actually come out from that fucking event?
well, definitely not the
The
Pokemon
the
Sleep
toothbrush,
aspect of
the brushing your teeth thing, I think actually came out, but that's it. I think that's it.
it. I'll tell you what's more of a chance to come out and possibly be announced is the whole thing of expansion thing for Scarlet and Violet. I mean, that announcement will make sense here on Pokemon
Yeah.
Day. Granted, they could also delay that type of announcement possibly until another major direct that they do have in the future. That's always a possibility as well. But if they actually go forth and do like an expansion, like for both of those games, I would expect them more akin to like anything in regards to say like Thailand to the Kalos region. of that stuff because that's been heavily type of thing as well.
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, there's been some rumors about that too with the Scarlet Violet DLC. Like, there's been some talk that it's gonna be more than like the last one was like 2 parts. And I know I think you even said you were
Right.
kind of you didn't even did you ever you never even went back and played the second part. Like, I heard they were kind of underwhelming the Sword and Shield,
Oh, the second part?
like Sword and Shield, the DLC.
Yeah, you know what? I never did go back to. Here's the thing. I never went back to go play Pokemon Shield. I never went back to go and play like Let's Go Eevee or even like freaking like Shining Pearl or anything like that.
Yeah, but you beat the other
And
versions of those ones though, didn't
well,
you?
yes, I did. I
Yeah,
did.
but
I
I just mean
did go
like
through the
you were
initial.
kind of like the DLC we've got in the past from them was kind of
Oh yeah, for Sword
lackluster.
and Shield. Right. The first one was lackluster because that really didn't have too much of an incentive and stuff. And it took me until like around last year to go through and play through the second DLC for Sword and Shield, the final one. That was the Crown Tundra. I went through that initial one. I didn't honestly. Here's the thing: the main portion of the after game of that second expansion, where you have to catch legendary birds and stuff, I really caught like maybe one or two out of the three, but I kept receiving these legendaries like over the freaking Wonder Trade thing because of people manipulating the game to where they could go forth and just trade off all these random stuff. And so what I do, I get them, I fill in my Pokemon decks, I release the damn shit because I didn't want to get my game banned.
Oh yeah, makes sense.
And
Yeah,
well, that's the thing though. The Crown Tundra stuff wasn't bad, but what initially led me to wait a while in regards to playing through the initial last bit of DLC for Sword and Shield was because the first one was kind of underwhelming in that regards. Because you had the initial island that you went through, you had the fight this like you had to train under this one like kung fu like master or something like that. You had that Pokemon Cub Fu that you had to evolve into Urshifu and stuff like that. One thing I didn't like about it is it didn't matter whether it was like the beginning of the game you started or at the post game or something like that. It was not scaled to difficulty, meaning you could put essentially go from start all the way to that island, have these different Pokemon and stuff, right? And train all this different stuff, and you would be so over leveled that it would make every other portion of the game a cakewalk. It was that type of abusability with that, but it just wasn't a lot of. It was not a lot of content that usually would have wanted to look for that initial expansion. Crown Tundra was a bit different though. That one I liked. I liked that. The legendary stuff, the whole tying in the stuff, but as far as Scarlet and Violet goes, I mean, hell, I'm excited to see the directions that they go with that initial expansion. Like I was stating, there's this one section of the Scarlet and Violet map that's purposely blacked out, not in the center, but like towards like the upper right hand corner, and that is where Kalos is supposed to be
okay.
represented in regards to that map. So you had the sixth generation and stuff. From initial rumors and initial things that I have heard and I've read and stuff, it's quintessentially people are believing there are some leakers that are believing that the legendary that is involved in there has a in regards to a turtle, not confirming anything and stuff like that, but it's supposed to be something like kind of like turtle-esque or something like that. It could also be any types of like regional variants or any type of like specific variants and stuff. But like I was saying, these rumors are all over the place as they usually are for Pokemon games.
Yeah.
But the consensus is these are going to be expanded more so in regards to possibly tying into Kalos in some
Okay.
way.
Well, yeah, and I'm just wondering like, um, like I said, there's been rumors of like and especially we've seen Nintendo. I know like Game Freak is not Nintendo, but they're partially mostly owned by Nintendo. Um, where like we've seen like Nintendo games like they used to have like all their DLC was 2 parts, and
Yeah.
like the first part was always some bullshit like you really
Yep.
didn't want it. Part two was the big expansion they want. Now we've seen them with like Fire Emblem, Xenoblade, shit like that. Like now they're 4 parts, and then the first three
Yep.
parts are still just more bullshit they really don't care about. But the fourth part's the part you want, but you got to pay for the other shit to get to the part you want. Um,
Yep.
so I'm wondering, like like I said, there's been like a lot of talk out there that this can be up to 4 parts. So I'm curious, like, what is this bullshit gonna be? Like, what are we expecting here? Um,
Oh, I hope it's not like a downloadable screen or something like a hub area like Splatoon 3.
yeah. Oh yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. God, I'd be so fucking
Where
pissed.
like the second part of that thing is going to be the actual meat and potatoes, and all
Yeah.
of a sudden you just have this big old skin of the Splatoon 1 hub world. I
Yeah,
mean, come on.
unless it's like the hub world is like it's like Gen 1 Pokemon Center. But I guess Nurse Joy would be there, so that's an upgrade. Um,
That'd be funny.
yeah,
Could you just imagine that in like
I
Scarlet and Violet? Like you just have a
I would
classic Pokemon
fucking
Center.
blow blow what lose my fucking mind if that was the
Oh my
case.
god.
Because then it would like
Not only that, but
after
like
I
they just separate
bitched.
it, you know?
Oh my god, yeah.
They would separate it like Pokemon Center and then Pokemon Mart. You go in
Oh,
there, it's just the classic pixel shit.
oh my god, yeah. No, I
That
I,
would be funny as
I didn't
hell.
think about that until you said that, Gables. But honestly, that makes a lot of sense for something. That would be something they would do. Nintendo was like, hey, I know you make something like there's probably that looks kind of cool. What if we just like charged them for a hub world? You're like, okay, yeah, I mean that's kind of stupid, but yeah, we can do that. It's like, yeah, cool,
Let's
do that.
charge him for a full conversion into 2D.
Yeah, yeah, like, yeah. God damn it. Or like, yeah, like part one's like, hey, you guys want the Gen 4 starters? No, no, we don't. And they're like, well, cool, we got to pay for it. Fuck. Yeah, I can see something like this happening. Or hey, like if you guys want the new starters that we put in this generation, do you want them not to suck ass? Yeah, we that'd be great. Cool. Well, you got to pay us an additional $40. You know what? I'd actually pay that. Don't stop making my alligator look like a fucking clown. Um, so stupid.
It's not a clown.
It looks like a fucking clown, Gables.
It's a flaming gator.
Gables, it's a goddamn clown. It's a fucking clown. Yeah, it's fucking it the clown's mascot. It's fucking stupid. I hate it. Every goddamn Fire
It's a
Emblem.
clown.
And this is a cool one of the bunch. What the fuck, man?
Dude, an undead gator is actually pretty cool.
Not the way to design this motherfucker. Stupid fucking asshole. Piece of shit.
Oh my gosh, dude. Oh, the one I could see possibly getting like critiques or something like Meowscarada. That one is a Zoro mask type of character and stuff, right? Where it has like a freaking Zoro mask, it has its other type of like attacks and stuff. It's broken as shit, obviously, because it's a move that never misses, but oh my god.
I'd pay $10, just give me Greninja and we'll call it a day. And get rid of
Yeah,
it.
I can see that happening. I
Just give
mean,
me Greninja.
look
I
at,
don't get rid of these dumbass fucking
dude,
starters.
I could even see the possibility of like them just saying, "Hey, you want another like set of starters or something like there? Here's the Gen 6 starters right here. Here, you could have your freaking
Who are the Gen 6
Totodile. You could
starters?
not Totodile, not Totodile. You could have your
Oh
Froakie.
man,
You could have your
you know
Chespin,
what?
or you have
Fuck yeah!
your
Give me the
Fennekin.
dude with the stupid fucking green hat. What's his name? You know what? I look
This
at the
freaking
evolutions; they suck too, except for Greninja. You know what? Yeah, Greninja's there. I'll take that one. God, man, they suck at starters.
not entirely. I mean, I like Incineroar. I mean, I like
Yeah,
Incineroar
I mean, not all of them are bad, but Jesus
and
Christ.
Decidueye. Man, Decidueye was pretty fucking awesome.
God damn. You know what? We
Uh,
gotta we gotta move on, man. We won't wait longer than I thought here. Let's move on, Gables, to some. We had the PlayStation State of Play on
yes.
Thursday. We talked about this a few weeks ago. Jeff Grubb talked about it. He said this is gonna be a low key one, so don't get too excited. And
He was right.
yeah, I mean, he even tweeted out. He's like, I tried to tell you. Uh, but he mentioned that there's gonna be a showcase should be happening before E3, so anywhere between now and the first week of June, I would assume. Oh, excuse me. But it's like about 40 minutes long, give or take. Um, Run through some of the stuff here. Naruto Boruto. I'm sorry, I didn't know this was a thing. I did a live react. If you want to go look at our YouTube
It's
channel.
basically like the father and son and stuff, and it's kind of like takes the best part of like the Naruto Ultimate Ninja Storm games, the battles in and of itself. And essentially, it's a separate game that has the best of things. It's its own separate entity of a game and stuff. Yeah, the name's confusing. I do admit.
No, it's not
But it's
confusing.
pretty cool, though.
It's objectively hilarious.
Yeah.
Naruto. I died when I saw that name. I didn't know this was a thing. Wow. Naruto Boruto. Hey, you know what? People are excited about it. I'm not gonna try to shit on it, but I mean, what a name, Boruto. I can't wait till Gables has a kid, Dables. Um,
That'd just be something that you just poked fun at your son or something like, hey, at least you didn't name your son name your son Dables.
I'll name him Dables. Don't worry. I'll change his name. That kid's gonna be like so confused. He's like, my name Dables? What's my name? And he won't know. He won't know. One game though I did predict that would be there, and it was in fact there. Goodbye Volcano High coming
Yeah.
June 15th. I talked about a couple weeks ago, like a game that was originally shown off at like the original PlayStation 5 showcases in like 2020.
Hmm.
So come out 2021. There's a bunch of issues with the lead writer. They fired him. Had to like do a bunch of rewrites. It's out. Um, we finally like see some like actual like storyline stuff, and it's like I am a sucker for like Life is Strange style games, and like I love like good music in these style of games. It definitely looks like more of like a narrative driven as far as like a lot of reading. Uh, and those games typically aren't my thing. Like not the fact I'm like opposed to reading, but I like a little bit of go with my game, like some motion, some video, some like some cutscenes. Not just like staring at a person like a still shot of somebody, and then you're reading the text. Like that's not for me typically. But I'm not trying to yuck anybody's muck here. But I don't know. I'm probably gonna check it out. It's got some good music in there. Got some good sounds like the vibes are cool. I love the art style. Um, Dinosaurs with hair kind of creep me out. Not gonna lie, even though I guess scientifically that is a fact now. But June 15th, cool. It kind of sucks. June's kind of busy, but I don't know. Maybe after Final Fantasy 16, maybe I'll give it a shot. But I want to see what's that price point. Give me a price point. It's not up on the PlayStation Store yet, and I want to know. I want to know. Next up here we have Chia. That is coming out March 21st. For PlayStation. I don't know if it's coming to other consoles, but they did announce it is going to be part of the extra and premium tier. So if you are somebody that has, if you already have PlayStation Plus extra or premium tier, Chia is going to be part of that March 21st. So um,
Yay!
yeah, like cool. Like yeah, Gables like I have premium. Did you upgrade to premium? Was on sale recently.
I have extra.
You have
I don't
extra.
have
Okay.
premium.
Yeah, I upgraded to premium because it was like 30% off. So it was like $12 for me to upgrade. So
Yeah, they basically do it for how many days you have on your plan.
yeah. But then like over like Christmas they had like 30% off of that.
Yeah.
So like it was like dirt cheap. So I'm like, well, fuck it, I might as well do it. Yeah, I have yeah, it's cool though. So it's coming out kind of like Stray last year. So yeah, it'd be kind of cool if like maybe a few times a year we get like give us an extra incentive, like give us a cool like little indie game on top of that. So the game looks
So it's gonna be like, yeah, the game looks pretty nice and stuff like that. I mean, it's kind of interesting that that's getting the Stray treatment
yeah,
from the PlayStation Plus
yeah.
and stuff. I
Hey,
mean,
Stray Game of the
yeah,
Year nominee.
it was
Yeah,
absolutely it was.
yeah. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm gonna check it out at least. It's coming. I mean, it was a game I wasn't like super interested in, but like the gameplay doesn't like not because I think it looks bad. It's just not a thing I'm typically interested in. But it's on a service that I already pay for and like I've already paid for,
True.
so I might as well check it out. But yeah, I like the vibes. I like the sound. I like the look of it. So another game that I talked about not too long ago. This game was announced in 2019, and finally we got a demo out now. It's coming in May called Humanity. You like are a dog
Oh
that
yeah,
like
that's right.
you herd people, but you can also like create like your own like little like levels. It's made with the people that made Tetris Effect. It's coming. It's also on VR. It's all. I guess it's on PSVR 1 and 2. It's coming to PS4 as well. Um, I don't know. I'm not a creation tool guy, so this is not doing anything for me. But this is
If
for
it were just
somebody.
like a puzzle game, if it was just like a regular puzzle game without any type of creation elements and stuff, I'd probably be a bit more interested. But considering how like kind of weird and sort of like outlandish it is for some of the puzzles to go forth, I mean, I like my obscure games. I like my abstract games. But that, I'm not sure if I'll be able to go forth and like play through that entirety of that type of a game, though.
Yeah,
That's the disappointing part about it. I mean, I like the concept of humanity.
yeah,
The whole aspect of hurting people is like that little Shinu Ibu
yeah.
dog and stuff like that, and just
I'm a sucker for
hurting
dogs.
people.
Yeah,
And what's kind of hilarious though, it's like that one scene and stuff where all the friggin' like the people or someone just dueling with these lightsabers or some crap or something like that in the center thing. That was the more entertaining part of that entire trailer to me.
yeah, yeah. I like I said, this is one of these things where like a lot of these things we talk about in this one. It's like sometimes these kind of events. It's like especially like this like they said that Jeff Grubb direct words were a low key state of play. It's like
Mm,
if these games, these things are like directly for these like niche audiences. So if like if it hit for
mm.
you, it hit for you. If it didn't, like if none of these hit for you, you weren't having a great time. So next up here we had five. uh, PSVR 2 games. One was
Mm.
Fogland. It's a shooter game. Then we had what was it? Green Hell. It's a survival VR game. Next up, we had a game called Synops. It's a first-person shooter game. Then what else the fuck do we have? We had Foundation. I think was the other game, a sci-fi shooter game. And then last but not least, we had Before Your Eyes. It's actually a game that's been on Steam for a couple years now. I've heard a lot of great things
Hmm.
about it. Like you can use like a webcam, and every time you blink, it jumps in forward. Like you're in hell or something. And it's literally like every time you blink, it's like your life flashing before your eyes. And I've heard it's a really excellent game, but it is a emotional roller coaster. I've been told expect to cry. So it's a game I want to check out for a while, but it's been only on Steam, but it's going to PSVR 2 now. I mean, I don't know. I feel like this thing we was talking about, like was for PSVR. I feel like it's been like kind of the going concern about this thing is like just like it's just PS4 2 is just it's out. That's kind of it.
The
It's like
the well, that's the thing though, Tyler. I mean, the biggest danger from like PlayStation VR 2 is it feeling more of the same from the original PlayStation VR. That's the general consensus that I've like got the impression of from like some people in regards to seeing their opinions online or like watching videos of people actually go forth and try it and stuff. I mean, the tech is cool.
yeah,
A lot of the games look like they are cool concepts. Like the whole Horizon Call of the Wild stuff looks fun. That game you're just mentioning in regards has been on Steam for the past few
yeah, Beyond
years
Your
and
Eyes.
stuff. Beyond Your Eyes, and so that sounds cool and stuff. But I'll tell you this, from some like the outsider looking in regards to myself. I mean, granted, I'm not playing. I don't really play any type of VR games because I'm afraid of motion sickness
Yeah,
and those type of games. But none of those games really seemed that much appealing to me. They just seemed like kind of boring little side games or something like that that you would play alongside of the system. You know, kind of like certain built-in games
yeah.
you would already have
It's like a
established.
Wii Sports scenario, or like the people that like
Absolutely.
it's like yeah, like that's kind of why I look at like that's kind of why I feel when I bought my PSVR was like I talk about this multiple times. It was like people will come over. It's like oh I want to check this out, cool, and I have a handful of games that are like and we play them. Like oh that's cool, and then you got anything else? Like no, not really. And it's like all right, cool, and then like that's it. It's like you pull it out for people to come over, but it's like it's also kind of sucks more because like at least with the Wii or Wii U or whatever, like their multiplayer experiences like this, it's like cool. You can like watch somebody play VR and then hope they don't punch your fucking TV screen. Um, but
Yeah.
yeah, like I mean, I don't know. Like people talk about the price point. It's like the price point for what it is not expensive. Like it's not
No, it's
overpriced.
cheaper.
It's
It's cheaper compared to some of the
yeah,
other VR
yeah,
alternatives.
it's like on par with like a metaverse, but it's way cheaper than some of the top tier stuff. But I mean, VR is an extremely expensive hobby. But unfortunately,
Yep.
I mean, I've talked about this before. It's like it's a very niche audience. You're coming to a very niche. I mean, not niche console, but there's only like 20 something million of these consoles. Like I think 30, maybe 30 million uh, PS5s out in the wild right now. So it's like what it like. There's not a major audience you can you can't like when the PS4 one came out, PS4 had like at that point like 75 million out there, and it was
It already had a big established
yeah. And
base.
the PSVR one wasn't great tech, but it was affordable. It was like $300, which is that very
True.
affordable. And they had Batman on there. They had some bigger IPs on there. Uh,
Yes.
yeah, but everything that's like kind of like coming out about this thing is like the PSVR 2 was more of like a Sony initiative rather than a PlayStation initiative. And
Mm.
I mean, if that's true, I mean, like that kind of like puts all the concerns we've talked about. With like, I'm not rooting for this thing to fail. Like, I want a reason to buy this fucking thing.
Well,
Like
yeah, no
I want
shit.
to be tempted to buy this thing, but I'm just not. Like I'd like yeah, I'd like to check out Horizon. But I feel like I wouldn't be shocked like this holiday there's like a bundle for like $400 with Horizon, or I don't know. I think we'll know. I would say by the end of 2024, we'll have a pretty good idea about the future of this console, whether or this tech. Like as far as like, is this the Vita, or are they actually trying? And maybe it'll still fail, but like maybe they actually give it a fair shot. Like I don't know.
I do give Sony credit when it came to the original PSVR to where that was successful to a point to where it
It's still the highest selling VR tech we've had yet. Over like I think
because
over
it was
like
one of
6
the
million.
because it was one of the cheapest alternatives to
Yeah,
get into the hobby itself. But it doesn't have that type of thing right at the moment. It's still cheaper than a lot of the high-end top premium VR headsets and stuff, but in regards to the VR2 and stuff, there's been hardly any type of advertising that's went into this device in of itself. It feels like Sony just put it out on the market and stuff like that, and with little to no market support, and then like we're only now learning more about like the future games that are coming onto this, and it's kind of concerning to me that it's just a bunch of like gimmicky experimental games, nothing
yeah,
like solid concrete from what was shown in this state of play. But that's not meaning that they couldn't like add on to like with more interesting concept of games or something down the road. But it just seems like to me this is a path I've seen Sony go across a couple different times, whether it be like say like the iToy or with the PlayStation Move or even like supporting stuff for the PlayStation
or the
Vita to where
PSP.
or the PSP, yes, exactly, where it had great ideas. They just did not want to put all their eggs in the basket in order to make it a success, especially with the PlayStation Vita, because that device was very much excellent,
Mm.
in my personal opinion.
Yeah, it's like that's the thing. Like, I mean, the tech is always there. It's just the support after the thing launches, whether or not that's there. And
Right.
like I hope this thing works out. Like I said, I want a reason to buy this thing. But I have a PSVR one though, and it's been literally sitting up in my closet for a couple of years now. And it's like now I can't even play it because I have a PS5. I don't have a PS4 anymore. Um, but I have even like, but I'm not like upset about it. Like the fact I can't play this thing. It's like I don't even care. It's like I almost like I don't know. It's like I kind of wish I could just kind of just want to almost throw this thing away, but I'm like, well, but I was like, part of me is like, just hold on to it. I don't know. Let's move on though. Like, uh, Capcom really saved this event though. We got
Hmm.
a trailer for Resident Evil 4. I've been like internet blackout for a while. I'm like, I just don't want to know anything at all about this. I don't want to see anything. I watched this thing. One of the greatest trailers of all time to me. Oh my god. We've seen some differences though with what's his name? Lewis, I believe his name
Oh
is
yeah, with Luis and stuff
Luis.
like
Yeah.
that.
So
That's interesting.
yeah,
Yeah.
he's like because in the main game, spoilers for Resident Evil 4, a 20-year-old game. Um, he's only the only time you play with him, like play with him. That sounds weird, but the only time he's like interacts with you and like he's helping you, it's in the house. That
Hmm.
part, the epic part there. But in this, like he's like it looks like he's in a boss fight with the Gigantes, and then he's also in the mine section on the island. That's kind of interesting. Um,
That's interesting because it seemed like a Capcom's addressed sort of like some of the critiques that some people have were like Luis. People like that character
yeah, he
Luis
was
to the
awesome.
extent to where he was killed off to way too early inside of that game for some people. And it seems like they're going to have him throughout the entirety of the adventure,
Yeah,
which that's a cool plus.
yeah. I don't know if he'd be there for the whole adventure, but at least be a part of it throughout, which is cool.
Right.
Um, yeah, I mean, I talk about like Resident Evil 4 is one of my favorite games of all time. I would put Resident Evil 4 and Metal Gear Solid 1 as the games I beat the most in my entire life. I really don't
Mm.
know which one I beat the most. Hard to say. Um, but yeah, like I'm going in with this one where it's like so excited for that fight with Krauser. I hope we get
That looks pretty
I hope we
cool.
get chased down by the giant robot thing again. The corniness of it is still there. Like I'm not going in like I'm going in with open mind. Like I'm not trying to be like, ooh, they changed it. Like I have like this is a game like I've totally like I played the game on like when they put it on 360 to the HD remaster. I was like, okay, this game hasn't aged super duper well. So I'm all bored. Like I'm not like tied to any sort of thing here. It's like make this game as good. Like you make it. Like I have total faith, especially at remakes 2 and 3. It's like totally on board. Totally respect anything you guys do. Like I have faith with whatever you decide to do here, and it'll be better. And yeah, like this game looks absolutely incredible. We got to see a little bit of the Krauser fight, which I didn't want to see anything. I'm a little upset I did see it. I was hoping they
There's
just
no
wouldn't tell us.
QTE shit.
I'm so happy though we didn't see any Wesker. Like I don't want to see Wesker at all. I just man, it looks like there's a little more backstory here with Ashley in this game.
Hmm.
Like we see some more cutscenes of like her, like what happened to her. I don't remember. It's been a while since I beat the game. It's probably been like I think the HD the remaster when like 2010ish maybe. So it's been over a decade since I beat that game. So
Mm.
um, it's been I don't remember everything completely anymore, but yeah, I'm all on board for whatever this thing could be. There's a demo coming soon. I doubt I'm gonna play it because I just want to go in fresh. And it's only a
Mm.
month away, so I'm not like this isn't coming out like September. So
People are gonna lose their shits with this game. I
oh
swear to
my
God.
God, Gables, uh, I can't possibly be any more erect when I think about this game. Um, next up though, I'm looking. Oh, okay, it's coming up here. Sorry, I was like they kind of skipped. I'm going through the. I'm using Arclier with everything, but Baldur's Gate 3 coming August 31st. It's been in early access for a long time, but it's coming to PlayStation and PC. They did say though Baldur's Gate there is not like if you hear my birds in the background, I apologize. I don't know what the fuck you're freaking out about. Um, but they did say that they don't have an exclusivity deal with PlayStation, but I guess they had a deal like PlayStation's helping them develop the game, and so that's why it's coming to PlayStation first. But they're not
Right.
like beholden to them with any contractual agreement. Sounds kind of like the same thing that happened with Callisto Protocol, where like they had the marketing deal with PlayStation, and then like they actually like 300 like PlayStation employees helped them get that game to the finish line so it release on time. But that's why the game worked really well on PlayStation 5 at launch, but didn't on Xbox or PC. So um, maybe it's one of those scenarios where that's probably why it's happening. Next up here, Capcom. We got three new fighters. We had Zangief, Lily, and Cammy. A lot of horny people online talking about Cammy, to the point that even Street Fighter's official Twitter account tweeted out about the fact that you guys really like Cammy, huh? Which was very funny to me. You,
Well, here's the thing though, with the reveals of the last three characters in that full launch roster list, it was interesting seeing the reveals of Zangief. Zangief looked like he has more professional wrestler moves. I much more appreciate that. He looks relatively smooth. That freaking jackhammer special, that jackhammer like level one super looks freaking crazy. I love that. But
I got a
I
quick
love
question about Zangief. I'm sorry to cut you off.
what's up?
So at
What's
one
up?
point he yells, "Time for a last ride," and then he does a pile driver. That
Well,
upset me a little
yeah,
bit because that's not a last rider. We are wrestling fans. A last rider ride is a power bomb where you lift the
it's an
guy up
elevated power
and
bomb.
then you lift him up and then you slam him to the ground. What he did was not a last ride.
Well, yeah, he was doing his standard double pile, like stuffed pile driver that he does and stuff for his finisher for level
That
three.
that's gimmick infringement. You can't do that.
I did like the way that Zangief looked. I mean, absolutely crazy. The amount of detail they were able to stuff, not just with his character model and stuff like that, but in terms of the new character Lily and also with Cammy as well. But I love the moves and the fluidness that Zangief has going for him currently. Moving on to Lily. I mean, Lily's the new character. Apparently, she's from the same tribe as one of the classic characters, T-Hawk, from like the Street Fighter 2 games. T-Hawk, Thunderhawk, and stuff. Is the dude that he has these specific type of moves and stuff where he can just lunge up in the air or like swoop down like a hawk and stuff like that onto enemies and stuff like that when you're fighting them. He also has these type of grab moves and stuff to where he spins you around like a typhoon sort of like throw. For Lily, it almost seems like sort of similar to some of the play styling of T-Hawk and stuff, to where she also has that anti-air where she just goes up in the air and stuff and kind of dives down like a condor or some shit like that. But she has these weapons that are sort of like Soul Calibur-esque sort of like way that she's battling fighters and stuff. Like the whole key example of this battle is like she's fighting against Blanca, right? And she's using these twin like sticks or whatsoever that she has, these clubs. She can grab them and stuff and do all sorts of various twirls and like freaking like flips and stuff with their special. I kind of like the whole cutesy like just accidental mistake type of finisher, and she just lands on top of them and just KOs them and that. Though it's kind of hilarious though. Even her taunt does a little bit of damage and stuff. Where yeah, Blanca just looking stupid and stuff, like just with a photo and all just gets hurt by that. But of course, Cammy, Cammy. Holy shit, though. I mean, Capcom literally found a way to make her more attractive with pants on. They know what they're doing with this, and I think that's really fucking hilarious, man. But that in mind and stuff like that, focusing upon what we're seeing in the actual gameplay portion of this, man, it looked fucking crazy. I mean, you have her standard like drive attacks and stuff like that, and her standard like throws and anti-air stuff. But there was one move that actually had me marking out a bit, and that was when she did her level 2 special, which she goes to the top of like like LP's shoulders or something, like the fighter's shoulders, right? Does a twist and stuff, goes back, and does like a backcracker and stuff with like almost like a dragon sleeper type of hold. That's an homage to the Street Fighter 2 movie from that animated Street Fighter 2 movie from back in the
Is that where you
90s.
see the one girl in the shower naked?
Chun Li, you see a bit of her ass. Yes, that was the one. But in regards to the scene I'm referring to, and not the more perverted one that Tyler just had to instill upon me here,
That's the
is the
only thing
one.
that anybody knows about that fucking movie. It's the only part that matters.
No, man, it's like I understand that, but in terms of earlier on in the movie, it's like Cammy is under the control of Bison, right? And she goes and she kills this politician and stuff by doing this exact same move, twisting his neck, going down into like a freaking like a backcracker and sort of like a dragon sleeper sort of move like that.
Then afterwards,
So
she
that
takes
was pretty
this.
cool.
After that, she takes a sudsy shower when you see her ass crack.
No,
Oh, damn.
but anyways and stuff, like I did love a lot of what Capcom showed in regards to their last character reveals before launch. I mean, Zangief looks good, Lily looks good, Cammy looks fucking good as well. It makes me a lot more excited to play Street Fighter 6 come in June because all the characters that have been revealed for the launch roster just impress me. A lot of them impress me. I mean, freaking obviously Cammy, obviously Zangief and stuff. I did like how DJ looked and played. Dulcim, I mean, I fucking love Dulcim. But yeah, man, it's like there's a lot of different feel with this launch as opposed to some of the other past Street Fighter games. So in regards to the whole state of play stuff, I mean, the Capcom stuff was the best part of this
Yeah.
entire freaking thing, you know? It's like not with just the Street Fighter 6 reveals and stuff, but with RE4 as well and
Yeah.
stuff. And I'm with you, man, where it's like I don't want to see more of like RE4, but at the same time, if they have a demo, I'm gonna fucking play the demo
Mm,
because I
mm,
want to have that
mm.
more. I want to feel that gameplay, what they initially have been working on with this stuff.
You know what, Gables? I want to feel that game inside me, but I'm gonna wait till it comes out and then I'll do it. Unless like the demo is like, hey, here's the first 2 hours of the game and it carries over to like the main game when you buy it, then fuck yeah. Until then.
Exactly,
You know?
but next comes the part where we pretty much fell off a
Well,
cliff, in my
before
opinion.
we get to the fall off the clip part, there is one more cool thing here.
Yeah.
So
So what's
they
that?
did announce the PS Plus games coming to the extra and premium categories in March. We
Uh
got
huh.
Uncharted Legacy of Thieves collection, which is the
Yep.
PS5 versions of Uncharted 4 and what the fuck's the other one called?
Lost
Lost
Legacy.
Legacy. Thank you.
Yep.
Ghostwire Tokyo, which kind of shocked me because the 1 year is coming up in March for
Hmm.
the exclusivity, and that game should be coming to Game Pass next month as well. Rainbow Six
Yes.
Extraction that came out last year. It's been on Game Pass forever. Chia, we were talking about. Immortals
Yep.
Phoenix Rising. And then they
Yeah.
also mentioned Battlefield 2042 is coming as well. I believe that's kind of the mains, but it's kind of cool. Um,
Ghostwire Tokyo as well.
yeah, yep. But yeah, getting to the part where we fall off the clip here, Gables. Um, it's like Suicide Squad. We got the 15 minutes here. It's kind of like when you watch like some Division two team in college football play Alabama,
Uh
and you're
huh.
just like you're going in there, and you're like, I know you're gonna get your ass whooped, but you just kind of want it. Like you just want them to like. Would be awesome if they just won. And there's that 5% of you. It's like maybe not 5%, 0.005% of you. It's like that'd be awesome. Like they could win. They could win. That'd be pretty cool to see. I want to see that. Um, and that's how I felt about Suicide Squad. Like maybe it's not a games of service game because like Suicide Squad looks like that game on in paper sounds amazing. You're killing the Justice League. That sounds kind of cool. Like what if it's not a games of service? Maybe we're all wrong. Maybe that screenshot we looked at a couple months ago was not true. Maybe all the leaks that's been out there for like 5 fucking years now. Maybe it's not true, Gables. Maybe we're wrong. Maybe that gameplay that they showed us a couple years last year was actually a fever dream. Um, Gables, it's so much worse than we thought. It looks like every generic fucking games of service game. I think it's hilarious how every games of service game, like third person games of service game now, it comes out, just looks like Crackdown from 2006.
And
All of
when
them.
you started saying that initially on Twitter or something like that, and
Yeah.
like even some like passing conversations, the more I thought about it, the more it stuck with me because that's exactly how
It's
some
like
bit of these
Anthem,
elements feel like.
fucking all of them. They just look at any third person shooter, like any games of service game at this point, just looks like it just plays like Crackdown. But you know what? I don't know. Crackdown was kind of cool in 2006. Then they made
It
Crackdown 3
was.
in 2018, and nobody fucking played it. it
Hell, they made the second when remember when they made the second game
we don't
and it
need to
was
talk about
pretty much worse
with
than
the,
the
well
first game.
that was the zombie bullshit. We don't need to talk about that. That was a weird time in our
uh,
lives. That was like a puberty in gaming right there. Um, I'm not gonna. They had hair growing in weird places. Um, yeah. So we got some gameplay. We got some cutscenes here. We got to see some cool shit. I'll say this. The best, like, I really like the part where Wonder Woman shows up and like puts the lasso on him, and like the story part where like, well, what do we got to do to stop this, and Flash is like, you have to kill us. Like, I love that part. That part was actually cool. Like, I said this when I did the live reaction, and I said this before that, before we saw this gameplay stuff. Like, when the leaks happens, like, man, if this game could just be like Marvel's Avengers, like the campaign part, like that's best case scenario. Unfortunately, like, because that Marvel's Avengers campaign was awesome, it just the games of service part got in the way a lot. But like, if that was just a main, like, a single player game, or maybe just like a two-person co-op game, you beat the game, you're done with the game, there's no other bullshit, that game would have been excellent. That would have been, I think, honestly, would have been game of the year contender. But then they had put games of service in it, and I get it, it's tempting. Like, you look at Fortnite, you look at Destiny 2, you look at all these games, it's like, I want that, and I get it, I do.
the problem is this is not the kind of game that you should put this into
No,
because this is it drags down the quality and any type of interest anyone had into this thing down the gutter.
yeah, I mean, and I feel bad for the developers. I feel bad for people working on this game because, like, you just know this isn't the game they want to make. This is fucking
No,
Rocksteady.
this is this is some corporate bullshit
Yeah,
the WB went through and had them do to insert inside of this game because they knew for a fact they were chasing trends from freaking live
yeah,
service games from like 2018 or
yeah.
2017.
Jason Schreier said it best on Twitter after this event. He said, "You can't chase trends in video games because it takes 5, 6 years to put out a good quality AAA video game. By the time you put that game out, that trend is we're sick of that trend. You know, by 3, 4 years at that point, like." Anthem came out in 2019, Gables. Early 2019. It's been over 4 years, which is crazy to say. And I would argue by
Wow.
then, we were sick of that. We were sick of these style of games by then.
Yeah.
And this game comes
Well,
out.
yeah.
And we talk about this for like Marvel's Avengers, when Gotham Knights came out. All the stuff came out after the game released. Was that game was like, I can't remember, Red Hood. It was a single player game where you play as Red Hood.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
And then Square Enix announced a deal to make Marvel's Avengers as a live service game. And then the suits got involved. And it's like, well, make that a games of service game. And like they had to totally pivot, turn that into a 4 player Marvel's, whatever bullshit game. And then Marvel's Avengers came out and it was panned. And then this people were like, well, we got to pull that games of service shit out of there. By that point, I mean, it's been multiple years you've been working on this thing. You can only do so much. They finally put that game out, and Gotham Knights was what it was.
The thing about it is, first impressions are everything, especially when it comes to video games. When you launch a game, it's incredibly hard to twist back, especially if it's had a tumultuous launch. Only a handful of games have done that to where their launch has been completely burdened or completely missed the mark that have come back initially and actually have had somewhat of
Yeah,
good
but
success or even better than what it was
yeah,
before.
but
But the point,
yeah, go ahead. No, I'm
but
sorry. Go
but
finish
what I'm
point.
saying, but what I'm saying though, the point being is and stuff. The first impression we had for Suicide Squad: Kill the Justice League is we were having like this whole like four like co-op stuff. Oh, we got to go to kill the Justice League and stuff. They're going to control Brainiac and stuff. The concept of the story is fine. I don't mind that. I mean, I don't even mind the little inaccuracies with the weapons that these freaking people are using from Captain Boomerang or fucking like King Shark
Whew.
and stuff like
Yeah.
that doing their other shit. But when it starts becoming like a bit of like a pain in the ass though, it's when you realize that after you're watching this gameplay of this state of play and you see this supposed 15 minutes and stuff and you just realize it's another games as a service game to where it's fast paced. It's got all these different types of weapons, all these different types of things. But then you have you have this cut to this clip of Captain Boomerang being equipped with all these different type of coded items that are representative of what's legendary, what's an exotic, what's like a rare, whatsoever, stuff like that. And not just that, but then you have all these other promises of like, oh, hey, we're going to have more expansion stuff coming down the line. We're going to have more characters being playable and this and that. It's like, enough is enough.
Hmm.
We understand what live service stuff is. We understand why these big publishers, these big entities want to institutionalize here these games as a service, these monetization stuff inside of their video games. I mean, yes, they have been proven to make money in this regards, but in the regards for this game, it makes it seem like a boring, generic action game. Absolutely. This game, I would be highly surprised if it's not dead on arrival because this is probably one of the more this is
Yeah.
probably one of the most sad things and stuff for a game that has Kevin Conroy, his last official role inside of this type of project, to where he was Batman for fucking decades, to be having the end legacy of just a boring game that's always online that could potentially be taken down in a couple of years from now because corporate people in WB honestly knew they had flushed money down the drain. You know, that's the most depressing part about this whole initial things. I may be overreacting. This may turn out to be a good game. Who knows? There's that possibility. But what
Yeah.
I'm saying is what I'm seeing right now is this looks like a game that is piss poor in regards to overall how it feels, the way it goes through and presents itself. There's a bunch of boring stuff we've already seen multitude of times before and better in other live service games. And on top of that, there's a lot better alternatives you can go through and play when this game releases too. This is not going to differentiate itself from the rest of the crowd. This is going to be gobbled up in the month of May because no one's going to give a shit about this game when it's launched. They're going to be too busy playing Zelda Tears of the Kingdom,
Yeah.
for God's
Or
sake.
a week later playing Diablo 4, Street
Street
Fighter 6,
Diablo 4, Street
or
Fighter
a month
6,
from now Final Fantasy 16.
there's like literally like about four or five different big games that
Yeah.
are coming out around this same time.
Yeah.
And they chose that date. You know, that's just asking for this game to be a freaking
Yeah, I
dumpster
mean,
fire.
I don't blame them for the date because just I mean the first half of this year is just
Right.
nuts.
Right.
And I don't know if it's gonna get any better. We don't know a lot for the second half of the year, but I don't know if it's gonna get any better. Um, but I mean, you mentioned like games turning it around, these games of service, these live going games turning it around, and we always talk about that.
Mm.
People always point to that, but this thing I keep talking about these games is like we look at No Man's Sky, we look at Rainbow Six Siege, and we look at Destiny.
Right.
Those games came out almost a decade ago.
Yes.
Back when these games weren't like these games, ongoing games weren't as regular as they are today. Now these games come out
Right.
constantly, and a lot of them
Absolutely.
are free to play. And those free to
And a
play
lot
ones
of
are
them.
making these games are like 70 fucking bucks. Um,
Absolutely.
Battlefield 2042 couldn't turn around. So we always talk about like, oh well, these games did it. I'm like, yeah, cool, but they did it when there was a lot less games coming out. Now there's more and more games coming out than ever before, and there's more and more of these style games that are out there that are
It's
successful.
oversaturated.
Yeah, it's oversaturated. There's a ton of them. There's a ton of quality ones that are already out there ongoing, and
Yes.
then on top of it, there's already new ones coming out. On top of that, there's a ton of brand new games coming out on top of that all the time. It's just nonstop. Um, and I'm not coming here like, yeah, I can't wait to talk shit about Suicide Squad. No,
No,
I want to fucking buy this game. You,
I want to play this game.
yes,
Yeah.
I wanted to buy this game. So like, I came in when I heard when like the rumors coming out, they're making a Suicide Squad where you kill Justice League. When we heard about those rumors, I'm like, I'm already coming to the place where shut up and take my money. And like, if we could have just held it there, like, shut up, just don't fucking say a word. Just put the game was just out one day, I would have totally bought it. And everything we have seen since then, it's just I'm like, cool. I'm not buying this game. Like, I don't know. It's
they've
like,
literally done they've literally done themselves a disservice from like going through and showing more and more of this game,
yeah,
because that was part of the worry heading into this state of play where we hardly saw anything in terms of the gameplay or in terms of the game loop itself, and this is why.
yeah. And it tells you something where like they spent 15 minutes talking about this game. It wasn't until like the last like 40 seconds that they mentioned the battle pass. Like, and
Yep.
that's something I've talked about before too. Was like these games come out and then we talk about them like, oh, it's a games of service game, and then like they almost got like the PR work is almost like convincing you that it's not that, and like show you
Oh,
all the like they
bullshit.
show you everything they work they do all these like
Yeah,
they bend over backwards to show you everything that's not that, and then they come out and they are that. It's like there's a problem when like you have to like try to convince your audience that no, this is not that thing you think it is, when in fact it actually is. Like that
they're
should
wording
be,
it in a way to fool you into buying it.
yeah. And when like that's it's PR's job, I get it, but like I feel like you're a game studio, and I understand, like I said, these are like developer, like these are executives that don't know a fucking goddamn
This is
thing about
executive
what,
decisions.
yeah, and
Yes.
they just like, ooh, Fortnite, I want that, make that thing, and yeah, like Jim Ryan, like fucking at PlayStation's like we have 12 games of service games in service, like in development. Fuck you. Um, I don't know. It's like we're shooting pink pus off tanks and helicopters. Like, what are we doing here, man? Like, like, it's like I can already see the fucking half the fucking levels here where it's like, all right, here comes you're gonna fight waves of enemies, and then there's gonna be a part where all right, you gotta shoot these four things, like this person's shielded, and you gotta shoot these four things to destroy the shield, and then go and attack. Like it's every live service game that we know out there. It
Yep.
is it's the formula 100%. Like, will I eventually play this game? Probably, but it's gonna be like when it's like 20, $30 at best, and like because I think that story could be really good. Like it just sucks that like
Right.
it's like Ubisoft where it's like there was a stretch there for like 6 7 years where they were creating the trend, and people were chasing them, and we've seen the last few years where like they're in hard times right now because they're trying to chase trends. You look at Rocksteady, they created the formula. They made the first actual like legitimately great like IP game out there ever. Like how many comic book games, how many like actual like based off of something based off an IP game has there been out there? Like not many, if any. Like yeah, there's like you can argue, oh yeah, this game like people talking about like Spider-Man 2 on PlayStation 2. Like okay, the game was like like maybe a 7. Like no, Batman the Batman Arkham games were legitimately fantastic game of the year contenders. Game of the generation
Yep.
contenders. Like they created that. They made that. And now they're making just a run of the mill games of service game where King Shark has a fucking machine gun. Captain Boomerang, the guy that kills people with the boomerang. He's going around with the fucking pistol. And like,
While having all sorts of various rare items and stuff equipped onto him and
yeah,
try to get like all sorts of various other type of like upgrades for legendaries and exotic pieces of
yeah.
weapons or armors and shit.
The whole thing just fucking sucks. Like, this is like I take no joy in this. Like
No.
I wanna be hyped as possibly can be for this game. And like I said, like when the rumors came out about initially about hearing about this, I was like, especially like coming off the Suicide Squad, the movie came out a couple years ago. The movie was awesome. I love that, and I love James Gunn. I love what he's done with Guardians of the Galaxy and all that. Like that movie is fucking hilarious. Peacemaker, the spin-off series with John Cena, fucking amazing. Like they should be riding high going into this fucking thing. But it's just like This is what we expect from with WB, with Warner Bros. They have bungled almost every step of the way with the DC stuff, and it's just like Rocksteady
It
was
kind
the
of
one
makes
thing they had, and now they're fucking that up too.
That's the thing, man. It's like it makes me kind of worried for their other initial like a game that is going to be coming out this year.
Yeah, yeah, we'll talk about that here later, but
Yeah.
yeah, but we need to move on. We ran along there ranting about fucking Suicide Squad, but
All right. If you want to start up the next article here, I'm just gonna get something to drink quick.
all right. So moving on here, we got some stuff with Konami. So Andy Robinson from VGC talked about this. They have a new podcast out, the video game VGC podcast. Just look it up. It's really good. I listened to it. But he talked about it that apparently Konami is planning on attending E3 this year. Uh, at least have an event of some sort. Um, so people that maybe don't remember that they were actually supposed to be. They had planned an event for E3 in 2021, and then had to back out shortly before the event because they just weren't ready yet. And then we seen what in the last year we've seen a bunch of Silent Hill games they announced. There's been a bunch of rumors about them. Like they've been working with a bunch of developers out there to make games. Been a lot of smoke around Blue Point specifically, that's now owned by PlayStation. The people that made like Demon Souls and stuff like that, Shadow of the Colossus remakes. There's been a lot of rumors about them working with PlayStation, about PlayStation making some Konami games based off their IPs. Um, there's been the rumor out there for a long time now, and there's been a lot of leaks, not from like like a Jeff Grubb type, but like just leaks on their end of Virtuous Games, I believe his name is the studio that
Hmm.
is they're making a Metal Gear Solid 3 remake.
Hmm.
Um, apparently also like the H the or the like the HD remasters, but all of, like the like Metal Gear Solid games got pulled from like stores, like PSN store, Steam, all that, because there was issues with like licensing stuff. I think about a year ago, and they're pretty much ready at any point in time to come out, but Konami's trying to figure out because they don't want to like the example that Andy Robinson used was like like when Dead Space came out, they didn't do like a Dead Space remaster and then put out Dead Space remake. They put out Dead Space remake, um, and it's like so cool. We have all these remasters ready to go. That like they've been out for a long time, but like now we can put them back out on sale, and you're gonna get a big surge when they do come back out on sale eventually. But like, do we put this out before we put the remake out? How do we handle this? And kind of like it sounds like the Metal Gear Solid 3 remake is kind of like a test bed for like the future of what they do with Metal Gear Solid. And then there's also been some talks about there's like some Castlevania games in the works as well. Um, but I don't know. I mean, there's been a lot of smoke around the Konami stuff for a while. Um, I believe in 2019 they had their best year ever financially, even though they haven't put a game out in a very long time because of the pachinko
Hmm.
machines. But then obviously COVID hit. They live off arcades, pachinko machines, doing a tough spot, being a kind of tough spot there. And then also they look at Capcom, what they've done with Resident Evil, and like, well, we want that. Kind of like how EA looked at Capcom with Resident Evil, and they was like, all right, we'll bring back Dead Space. And so far, that seems like to be pretty successful for them. Um, I don't know. I mean, I grew up. Metal Gear Solid is probably at worst my second most important franchise to me, besides like Madden maybe. Um, but as far as like take Madden out of it, it's definitely number one. Um, but I don't know. Gables, you're a huge Metal Gear fan as well. Like, how you feel about like and you're a huge Castlevania fan. How are you feeling about like Konami and like do you have faith that they'll do this well?
Here's the thing. In regards to both of those series, it would depend upon who they source out these properties to in order for me to really be excited or to cringe at the opportunity of seeing them in action. For Metal Gear Solid 3, a remaster of that, I mean, I'd welcome, but it all depends on what studio is going to be potentially going through with it. Whether it be like a Blue Point studio or whatever the hell, I want it to be good, obviously, first and foremost. But I would definitely would love to see what they do with Castlevania a little bit more, only because that franchise has laid dormant for quite a long time in regards to a actual full-on game release. The actual last full release of a Castlevania game, I want to say, is Legacy of no, like Legacy of Shadows 2, I think it was. Like Lords of Shadows 2, that's what it was.
Yeah, no, that
Lords of
was
Shadows 2. That
a
was
decade ago.
not a good game.
Yeah,
That was like mixed at best. And when you see a bunch of the gameplay of that game in regards to the whole sections of like that whole misbalancing of scale for like characters and certain aspect points and stuff like that, it was clearly a rush job. It was kind of a polarizing release too then, but that was like around that was like around 2012, give or take. I think it was 2012. I may be wrong, but it's been a while since we've actually seen a full-on Castlevania game. As a matter of fact, Dead Cells with its Return to Castlevania, that's the actual type of
yeah.
game that
It's a week and a half away.
I know it's a week and a half away, but that's the most the Castlevania series has had in regards to actually having something close to initial Metroidvania or whatever the hell with that series and stuff for quite a while. And this is before the actual re-releases of the original games to the Castlevania collection, and then through the Advanced collection and stuff. Which, by the way, I played through and I platinum both because I'm like that because I love those games. I would definitely love to see what they would do, like say if they were to partner up with Mercury Stream again and possibly maybe give them a little bit more of a budget, considering that that Mirrors of Fate HD type of game or something that they had like through the last generation of platforms and stuff, plus that 3DS game that they had for that Castlevania stuff. But my overall wanting, if there's a new Castlevania game, it's got to be 2D. It's got to be either a Metroidvania or an original style game. I would much prefer trying to see a new original style of Castlevania game to where it's basically you go through a bunch of stages. All these set points are different points around either a Transylvania or like different portions of like in the middle of Europe. Then you have like crazy ass bosses. It doesn't matter to me whether it's like a Medusa, whether it's a creature, whether it's like a freaking Dracula himself, or some weird ass version of like the Grim Reaper or something in his dual forms or something like that. That's what I would want. Now, in regards to whether or not we will see those, I mean, it's nice that we're hearing rumors upon the provincial plannings of multiple games, like not just for Castlevania, but also Metal Gear Solid. I mean, my hope is we'll learn about more before June.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
Um. Yeah. Like there's been some people talking about like, oh, Blue Point's making a Castlevania game, and like, I'm not trying to talk shit about Castlevania, but like, what game are they remaking? Castlevania 64? Like that. Like I don't know what like other than Lords of Shadow, I don't know what they could be remaking. For Blue Point, because they do like the big, big 3D games they remake, not some like Castlevania is primarily and at its
Their
best is
most
a 2D game.
their most successful 3D game was Lords of Shadow
Yeah,
back in
but
2010.
that game's like what, like an 8 out of 10, kind of like that's not
But
like
that was also co-made by Kojima,
yeah, yeah, co-made, yeah, whatever. He was in the office when they talked about it probably. Um,
probably.
yeah, well, like I said, I'm not trying to talk like no shade at Castlevania there, but like I don't necessarily buy the Castlevania Blue Point unless like that's a whole new thing. Maybe then I believe that like
That'd be a whole can of
yeah,
worms,
and that
yes.
PlayStation said that they're making their own stuff, so maybe that's what they're working on. But um, I don't know, like going to the Metal Gear Solid stuff, like I talk about Resident Evil 4, like I'm not like tied to any one thing. Like if you want to change some shit around, I'm not gonna be like super upset about it as long as it's great. And I have faith in Capcom for doing that. Konami, I don't. Konami, we've seen Metal Gear Survive. We've seen what they've done with their games, where like they once they like lose the main creators, they kind of just cheaply like they farm them out to studios, like these
Yep.
small teams with no budget. They just put out these shit products. They like we watched them run Silent Hill into the ground. Um, we've
Contra
Contra, yeah,
also,
like they
yeah.
yeah. I mean, we've seen them take these big IPs that that they've been able to like if they got good people in to make them, and then once they lose them, they usually run them off. And then once after that, I was like, cool. Well, we're gonna hire some Joe Smo small development team, give them $20. Hey, make a game out. Make a Silent Hill game or a Metal Gear Survive game here. Um, so yeah, like and like we yeah cool. We do a remake. Like yeah, like I look at the Silent Hill stuff. Like I'm not a Silent Hill fan by any stretch of imagination, but I watched that thing. I watched that event they had last year. I listened to people that are huge fans of Silent Hill, the original ones, and a lot of them came away a little disappointed about like the remake stuff that we had for Silent Hill 2, and some people like that were making some of these games because it's like they got some like a couple of them look okay, but like Silent Hill F is being made by the Resident Evil Reverse people. Um,
Yep.
like I know what's people making the Silent Hill 2 remake. They made Bloober Team. Like I like the medium. Most people don't, or thought it was fine. Um, but like they're not known for making like high quality games. Um, so I don't know. Like I just look at Virtua System or Virtual, what the fuck's it called? Like I don't know anything about these guys. I don't know what they're doing. Like how good are they at making games? Um, it's like that's different to me because like I don't want them to fuck with the story. Just leave the story as is. But, like how good is these games gonna be actually? I don't know. Like I best case scenario is the PlayStation rumors are true. And they're making the games because I have faith that they'll make great games, especially because if they're shelling out the money to make these things, for like they gotta pay the money to get the access to the IPs. On top of that, like I don't think they're gonna fuck around. And usually, I mean, top tier PlayStation games are usually, they're high quality games. Um, so I just hope that like if Blue Point is like, there's been a long rumor of them working on a Metal Gear Solid remake. I hope that's true. That's pie in the sky for me, like best case scenario, because that's the only way I have faith. Because I have zero faith in Konami. Like even though like yeah they're like maybe they'll put a little more effort into it and they'll give it like I don't, but I have zero faith that they're gonna um yeah do put the put their best foot forward on this shit. Like I could see them do like a half measure thing where it's like we don't go fully on board because we want to see how well this works out, but then because they like half-assed it, it doesn't do as well as it should, and then they get like, well, okay, well we're gonna back out of this. So or like they're gonna go back to who they were, because but yeah, I don't know. Like that's my main concern because like I love Metal Gear Solid so much, and I don't want that legacy to get fucked with. Um, so yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I don't. It's just I'm so torn because it's like I'm so scared about Metal Gear Solid because it's like I so badly would I love to play even like a remake just to be able to play a Metal Gear game again would be fantastic. Um, but they can so easily. I've very little faith in Konami. It's one of those things where like you need to absolutely prove it's the exact opposite of Suicide Squad. Where we like I talking about Suicide Squad, I already had my money in hand, and then you kept showing me shit and you fucked it up. This one's like I am as hesitant as possible, and you need to fucking kill this to get a dime out of me. That's how I feel about on Konami. But I don't know, any final thoughts on that one, Gables?
Oh no, I'm good.
All right. Well, let's run through some other news here. Some other news this week. Nintendo officially announced that they will not be at E3. They said, since this year's E3 did not fit our plans, we have made the decision to not participate. However, we have been and continue to be a strong supporter of the ESA and E3. Kind of the same thing exactly Phil Spencer said when they talked about like, are you guys gonna be at A3? Even though they said like they'll be in LA in June, but they won't be part of E3. But hey, we still support them. We just won't be supporting them. Um, but I mean, IGN broke that story about a month ago, and we talked about it then. Some of the stuff out there is like that maybe like they don't have the game, like they don't have the games, like they don't have the stuff to show, or maybe they're not ready to show those games yet. But I don't know. I mean, we're in a weird stage now with Nintendo where we are very obviously at the end of the generation. So how much more do they have left to show us before the next console? So anything you want to say on the Gables?
Honestly, the only thing I could really say though is like they don't generally need to have like the platform like say at E3 in order to showcase what they have. They've been doing a fine enough job going through and announcing what they have been like through their directs for whatever month that they decide to release one, and
Yeah,
like through their other types of other media sites like their their Facebook, their Twitter, their friggin' like Instagram stuff. So even like last year, we didn't really get a Nintendo Direct until like
Well,
July
we got one at the
in
end of
that
June, but it was a
regards.
third party one. That was that
Well,
weird
yeah, end of
farming simulator
June,
one.
yeah.
So
But yeah, I think we're gonna see a lot more from Nintendo, as opposed to what people have been hearing about. I mean, that's just personally what I'm thinking, but who knows? It just remains to be seen.
yeah, I would argue that nobody needs E3 anymore. I just want the idea E3 to stick around because when we've
Yeah,
seen Ubisoft Forwards, EA plays, they can PlayStation State of plays whenever they can do these things whenever they want to. Even Xbox, the developer direct thing last month. It's like they don't. None of them. Nobody actually needs E3. Um,
yep.
but yeah, I don't know. Yeah, like I said, they can just kind of show the shit whenever they're ready. Um, next up here, so there was like some teases about like Konami or Platinum talked about like celebrating the 10th anniversary of Metal Gear Rising. There wasn't actually really anything to celebrate. Like they didn't really do anything. There was like they
No.
released some new art. That was the one thing they did. So nothing really happened there. But there was like even like people were freaking out because like the voice actor of Raiden teased about some news soon, and then like a week later they announced, hey, we're celebrating the 10th anniversary of Metal Gear Rising. So there was kind of a freak out there. And then yeah, we got some new art. So that happened. Um, Xbox announced that they are legally binded with a deal with NVIDIA GeForce Now and Nintendo to put Call of Duty on their platforms for 10 years. No idea when it's going to start, officially kick in. I imagine for like Nintendo, it won't kick in until the next console's out. But I feel,
Or until like the Activision Microsoft deal
yeah. But
goes all the way
yeah,
through.
but like there's no chance that this coming Call of Duty game is going to be on the Switch. But say 2024, this kicks in. I feel like for both of these things, this is a giant nothing burger. This is just,
Hmm.
we're trying to like, hey, hey, FCC, whatever it is, hey, EU, um, look, we can work with people, but it's like they know that there's government employees, and not like it's not really their job to know the ins and outs of the video game industry, but it's like one of these things where it's like these obviously doesn't mean anything. Like how many like this isn't like Call of Duty hasn't been on Nintendo in a decade, and they've
Yep.
been totally fine. And them coming to Nintendo, with like cool, like we could play the next Call of Duty game on the cloud on the Nintendo. What do you fucking do? Nvidia GeForce Now, I can already play you on 5 other fucking PC stores. Why is this any different? Um, I just I don't know. Like it's a smart business move. It's a very savvy business move for them to do because they know that like these governments won't know that this is not a big deal. Um, and but I also gotta say I talked about this a while ago. Like I hate covering the whole like I actively we just don't talk about the PlayStation or the PlayStation Xbox Activision Blizzard because it's so I'm so sick and tired of hearing about it. We'll talk about it finally when it goes through. But
Yeah.
like it's just been like I'm so tired of hearing about like the daily updates about this fucking thing. But I said this a while ago where like PlayStation's working their ass off to try to like it's kind of like what I said earlier about like the Division 2 team going up against Alabama in college football. It's like there's a very slim chance they're gonna win, but what if they win? That's kind of the PlayStation with like there's a very small chance we could stop this, but what if we win? But really, what the big thing was like what they're hoping for was like making it so Xbox had to do something like sweeten the deal a little bit more for them, and like because initially Xbox offered them a 3-year extension on top of their deal. Like we found out that their exclusivity content deal ends in 2024 with Call of Duty, and they announced them they gave them a like hey 3 years extension till 2027 initially, and they're like well no that's not enough. And now they're offering these 10-year deals, and they've offered the same thing to PlayStation. In a way, like they're still losing the the I don't want to say the war. They're not winning. They're not gonna like. They're not gonna get ultimately what they want. But they've got at worst case scenario, they got at least another decade of Call of Duty on the PlayStation platform. So, like,
Hmm.
I feel like this is probably really what they're hoping for, and maybe they'll get more. But like, yeah, and like even like I think Xbox even offered to like put the put the games on PS Plus before they go on Game Pass even. So I don't know. What about you, Gables?
Hmm. Not really too sure in regards to that, though. I mean, it may be just that. It may be just like a fluff thing and stuff until like around that deal gets put through and stuff. But as far as say the whole things between like Microsoft and also with Sony in regards to the whole Call of Duty stuff. It's there has to be something inside this contract, initial things that's just have Sony just like saying no, I'm not. I do not want this. I want this portion or that portion or something like that because generally you're looking at a property and stuff like Call of Duty that they're Sony's gonna be losing billion. It's gonna be losing a lot of money because of that not being exclusive on their platform. So kicking and screaming and do whatever the hell they got to do with try to get some form of things not to pass through and stuff
Yeah,
for the acquisition of the thing. I mean, it's pretty much a no-brainer and stuff that Sony was going to take this
yeah,
route in that regards. But as far as anything else, though, I'm just waiting to see what happens in regards to the whole deal going through.
yeah. I mean, like they really at this point don't really have anything to lose because they basically, I mean, Call of Duty with Xbox, they feel like this point's a formality. So like kicking and screaming on the way out to get as much as they can until the deal is done. It's like that's just kind of I guess like them just trying to find a little sliver of hope for the meantime. Next up here, March 9th, we're getting a Mario movie direct. We're gonna get the final trailer for that. They said no other gameplay will be shown. There has been some leaks out there that there's gonna be a on. We should hear about it. I think it sounds like this coming week we should hear about it. On March 10th, they'll put out a new Switch bundle with Mario Odyssey, though. So,
Yeah, for Mario Day.
yeah, for Mario Day. Yeah. So, I'm kind of shocked they're not doing that. Like, well, I guess March 9th here is March 10th in Japan. So, Mario Day would be on March 9th in Japan. So, maybe that's why they're doing it March 9th for us. Um, yeah, but I don't know.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, I don't need to really see anything about that Mario movie at this point. Like, that first initial trailer, I'm fine with. Like, whatever. I'm not going to be sold or anything anymore on it. There already am. Next up here, Shinji Mikami. I'm sorry. Is announced he is
You
leaving.
just called him a death
I
god.
did. I did. uh, Jesus Christ! It's late. It's midnight here. Shinji Mikami is leaving Tango GameWorks. They said that it's officially been announced. He says he's leaving in the coming months. He created the studio, and then sold it to Bethesda back in 2010. Apparently, this isn't the first time he's considered like leaving, and like he was very close. There's a studio called M2. There's actually two studios called M2 in Japan, but this M2 co-developed Resident Evil 3 remake and was originally developing the Resident Evil 4 remake for Capcom. Took it over in house to remake it because I guess there was like issues because M2 wanted to make it more like the original, keep it very much like tight to the original story, and like they were, Capcom was like, no, let's change a little bit more. I don't know. Anyways, um, even to the point that Tatsuya Minami, who created M2, the reason the studio is called M2 is because of their last name, both starting with M. And there, I guess there was like business cards out there with their names on it for M2. So who knows if he's going there? And this studio is like very tied to Capcom. Obviously, Shinji Mikami came from Capcom. He was the original director of Resident Evil 1, Resident Evil 4. I didn't realize this. He made Shadow of the Damned, which is a 360 PS3 game that I
Yep.
played, and I actually it was actually a Grasshopper game as well that I actually
Yep.
played through and enjoyed back in the day. I didn't know I enjoyed a Grasshopper game. Um, but yeah, I mean, but it's also he talked about a long time ago, like Resident Evil or Evil Within 1 was he announced at the time that was gonna be his last game he directed. Uh, the guy that actually directed Hi-Fi Rush that we saw in the developer direct, he actually directed Hi-Fi Rush and he also directed Evil Within 2. I didn't realize that. And Shinji Mikami was kind of like overseer of it more so, kind of like a Miyamoto kind of ordeal where he's not like director, he's more a producer, like he's overseeing things, but he's not completely hands on. Like kind of like with Mario and stuff. Like he's around. He's like overall he has the final say on shit, but like he's not like the top guy. He's not making ultimate decisions on things. But apparently like, there's been like when he said he wanted to make like a sci-fi shooter like Mass Effect way back in like the 2010 era. But Bethesda kind of forced him to make a Resident Evil style game that's got Evil Within. And I was like, hey, you make Resident Evil, we'll let you make this thing. And then obviously that never happened. So it sounds like he's been wanting to leave for a long time, but he was concerned that Tango GameWorks wasn't at that point stable enough to survive without him. And then obviously seems like. After Evil Within 2, Ghost War Tokyo being kind of middling, but seemed like it did okay sales wise. And then Hi-Fi Rush, obviously, being fantastic. Sounds like the studio is in a much better place now and on stable footing, and they can survive on their own. But yeah. Actually, here, Gables, you put this in here. Actually, Rovio is delisting Angry Birds from the Google Play Store, so they have a dollar version that you can buy. Oh, did we lose Gables?
No, I'm here.
Okay, sorry, your screen froze. You are frozen.
Oh wow.
Um, but Angry Birds, the dollar version is being pulled from the Google Play Store, and in its place is that you can only play the game if you play the free to play version. So
Yeah, that's the thing though. It was pulled on the 23rd, I think it was. So this past week, and it was kind of interesting because there's multiple different forms of the game Angry Birds, like on the Google Play Store and stuff. But the one that gets pulled is the one that does not have any type of microtransactions or any type of free to play stuff. So, yeah, go figure.
Gables, so my OBS fucked up, and like everything's fine. They can still hear you.
Yeah,
You're upside down now.
I'm upside down.
I'm just gonna leave it like this. Yeah, you're. I'm just gonna leave it like this. This is fucking hilarious. Um, so yeah, if you're a listener, go to the YouTube channel. Click the links in the description down below, and look at the video. And for some reason, it just like flipped, and Gables is just upside down now. And I think I'm just gonna leave it like this because I don't want to fuck with anything and everything else go wrong. But it's hilarious to me. But yeah, I mean, I get it. Like business wise, it makes sense. Like, hey, we can either
Yeah,
like make them play the game that you can just keep continually pumping money into, or hey, just pay $1 and play it in
play a
perpetuity.
full
So
game.
yeah, what a concept. Uh, Mortal Kombat 12 was just announced at a WBD quarterly earnings hearing. Uh, wasn't supposed to be announced.
No,
It was
they just
news to another
outright just
realm.
said it.
Yeah, they just said it. Like, I mean, obviously they're in a pretty rough spot. Like they're just losing money like crazy, and this just sounds like something like they're desperate to like get some positive news out there for this year. Like,
It
hey, it's
definitely
coming this year.
sounded like it.
Yeah. So, yeah. I mean, it's been like the worst kept secret in gaming for a long time now. I mean,
The
we've
poor
all known about
NetherRealm,
it.
though. I mean, I rather would have had them go forth and announce that and stuff instead of just having it leaked that way.
Yeah. It's
Boone and crew
yeah.
deserved a lot more, like a better way to showcase Mortal Kombat 12 than just some desperate dude instead of an earners meeting.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it sucks, but I don't know. I mean, like we all knew it was coming. I'm disappointed we're not getting Injustice 3 because I like the Injustice games more than I like the
Yeah,
Mortal Kombat games,
I hear
especially
you.
after coming off Mortal Kombat 11 and Aftermath. Like I like the campaign stuff. I'm not a huge fighting game fan, but I like the campaign, the story stuff in there. But like 11 and Aftermath, just kind of like I didn't really care for that. But Mortal Kombat 11 is like the highest selling fighting game of all time, so I get why they just decided to skip to 12. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm looking forward to seeing it, but I'm not like, it's kind of like, meh. All right, yeah, like I said, it's like kind of underwhelming. Hey, it's coming out. So, and Ed Boon even tweeted about. Did you guys hear the Injustice 3 rumors today? Which I had a good kick out of. Yeah, Mario plus Rabbids DLC Pack 1 is coming March 2nd. It's coming, so it's Thursday. It's a tower. It's a tower thing. You just gotta go through a tower. It's called Tower of Doom. So what the fuck ever. And also Starfield Showcase. We should be hearing some news pretty soon
Oh
about,
boy.
we're supposed to do the event. So we should be hearing about that. I'm assuming. I bet probably this coming week we'll officially hear um, when that is. And I mean, there's supposed to be a Bethesda event for journalists. I believe end of March or early April. So
Mhm.
makes sense if they had to get that announced that soon and probably tie that in to this event. But that's pretty much it for news this week. Gables, I gotta pee, but tell me what you've been playing, buddy.
All right, so there's been a couple things that I have been playing, but the biggest thing that I have been playing though has been the Metroid Prime Remaster. Managed to walk into my local Walmart and buy this game before it officially released physically. Now, granted, the game has been out since the last Nintendo Direct. It was stealth dropped then, but I just happened to go into my local Walmart earlier on within the week and stuff, and decided to just check the game section, and then I saw it. So I bought it, and I've been fooling around with it quite a bit, and I am thoroughly enjoying this game. I mean, this remaster, they literally went above and beyond in order to, and by them, I'm referring to like the studio in question, Retro Studios. I feel like Retro Studios and some other like cohorts and stuff, like going through and like recreating this game. But they did a fantastic job in not only preserving the original feel of Metroid Prime, but they improved upon a bunch of different aspects of it. The most notably is the controls. The controls are silky smooth with this game. I mean, gone is the tank-like controls from the original games, which you had to hold down the R button in order to try to grab, like, in order for Samus to grab her, like, your hand cannon and stuff, and then you having to move with the analog stick while holding the R button and stuff in order to try to shoot and all this other stuff. Granted, granted, back in the day and stuff, before like even twin stick shooter stuff on main platforms and stuff was not like it was not like a regular thing. I mean, Halo Combat Evolved did a lot of that stuff in 2001, and it didn't really follow suit with every other game until like around close to 2005. But in this regards, it's like the dual analog feel of Metroid Prime Remastered, it feels great. I mean, I don't feel like I'm struggling with the controls in order to just to try to kill specific enemies or just put up with the controls and stuff. It feels like I have a lot more options in order to mix up when I'm going through dispatching of enemies. Like I could go forth and like aim in the sky and stuff and just shoot like a space pirate out of the sky and stuff like that with their jetpacks and all this other crap while going through taking out like space pirates like on the ground just trying to lunge me or trying to stealth attack me and stuff like that. But I mean, yeah, man, it's like the control aspect of the game is fantastic. You do have the options to switch between a couple different types of controls. You could do the original tank controls, which honestly, if you're going to try to play this game on hard mode, I mean, yeah, you could definitely put on the original settings. But there's also the almost like the Wii option to where you can play this game like with both of your Joy Cons with motion control stuff. I mean, I like that. Metroid Prime trilogy when I was on the Wii and stuff, the motion control stuff was fine. It wasn't like say terrible. It wasn't like very much of a hindrance and all that other aspects and stuff. I just preferably did not play a lot of it with the motion control stuff. But as far as other portions of the game go, the graphics and stuff, they look a hell of a lot better. Obviously, since remastering from an old GameCube classic, things were put into better scope and scale. I mean, the the whole terrain stuff looks a hell of a lot different and just a lot more fleshed out. But in terms of like other aspects of the game, they did leave a lot of the original stuff intact, which is the backtracking and stuff, the not just the backtracking, but to try to figure out where you have to go next and what type of weapon or upgrade that you needed in order to get to the other, like a different area and stuff. That's all present and accounted for. Now, I've played this game for around 5 hours, give or take. So a little over 5 hours. So that's a significant chunk inside of this game's initial story line and stuff. So at this moment in time, I have upgraded to the Varia suit. I have played against a couple different bosses. Obviously, the Parasite Queen's the first one when you initially go into it, and then like you have this plant creature by the name of Flagra, who's like this toxic-based plant creature or something that gets its power from sunlight, like solar panels. So I liked that battle in particular because of how, especially like with how the controls have been reworked and stuff, that boss battle definitely feels a lot more manageable to me in a lot of different ways because I'm not struggling to get into morph ball mode and stuff and try to get and just bomb the initial stations in order to try to do some bit of damage in this monster. But yeah, that boss was fine. Going to like the Bandera drifts and stuff and facing off against the she goth and the little baby she goth like creatures inside of there while trying to not only get certain weapons and stuff from there, but also infiltrating one of their main like space pirate bases inside of that area, and then like getting the thermal visor and stuff. I mean, I totally forgot how atmospheric getting that thermal visor, that whole adventure inside of that inside of that station, and then getting out of there was. Now here's the good like concept scenario right here. You enter in, you face off against a couple space pirates. It's like you get to scan a whole bunch of things. You get to learn a whole bunch of different backstory about the Metroids and how they're experimenting on them and doing all this and doing all this that. But when you finally face off against a load of space pirates and you get to that thermal visor itself, once you pick it up, everything just goes dark, and you have to use that visor to get out. And it is definitely feels a lot more atmospheric with that, because they not only make it seem like they not only have it to where it feels like a night vision sort of thing and stuff, but they actually made it kind of fuzzy, kind of tinty, like how you have it like for actual night vision. So it feels a little bit more realistic in that aspect of it. But oh my gosh, though, trying to find artifacts, trying to discover things, and the game feels, I don't know whether it's just me maturing or something like that, or just me being a dumb teenager back then and stuff. But there are aspects of this game where I feel like are much more easier for me to understand now, because I've gone through similar aspects of it. But one thing I could say for its detriment, I really wish they would have had, like, say, a checkpoint, not like a checkpoint, but like a warp point thing where you can transfer like instantly
Yes.
towards one play to another, because that would have made some bit of the backslog stuff
Yeah.
like easier to not only just to manage, but it would just have been a lot more easier to swallow in regards to having to backtrack stuff. I mean, I look at other types of games and stuff that are similar to the Metroid style right here, like some of the Castlevania games, to where they have those warp points, to where you can go to different sections and do this and do that after you meet certain conditions. With Metroid Prime Remastered, it retains its classical sense to where you don't do that. You basically you do like in other Metroid games, which is you have the spot on the map, you got to figure out how to get to that spot, but you have to backtrack all the way back around or something like that to get to the previous area, because there are subtle changes in the environment or something like that that happens, that you have to somehow find a new way to get past and around. Granted, I could see how that could turn off some gamers, but at the same point, it definitely puts more of an emphasis on challenge in regards to try to figure out what you need to do next. So, with that being said, though, I mean, Metroid Prime Remastered, I definitely would recommend people to go and give that a shot if they've never played it before. It definitely is a harder shooter than what some maybe used to, but on top of that, though, no, whether you get it physically or digitally and stuff, I would definitely give this game a go. It's only $40. It's not that bad. It's not a full-on $60 or $70 release, and it's probably better than a lot of the $60 $70 releases that you're probably gonna play this year. But
It's fair.
with the other stuff that I played this week, I've played a couple demos. One of which was the Theatrhythm Barline one, which have been playing off and on now for the past couple of weeks. I've tried it on the PlayStation 5. I've also tried it on the Switch. I kind of prefer the Switch version of it, only because I can play it in handheld mode and just kind of screw around with that while I'm in bed, and just having that type of that leeway and stuff, kind of like how I used to play its previous entries and stuff on the 3DS and stuff, and do it that way. But it's really fun. I mean, it definitely feels like Curtain Call. I mean, in the best ways possible, because it has the musical tracks and everything else like that. I think I put in like at least 3 to 5 hours being between both versions and stuff in order to play that stuff, and it really makes me want to buy this, because it's definitely that fun. But another one I did try a little bit of, but I know you've played a little bit of as well, as that Wulong demo.
I have no idea what you're talking about, Gills. Fucking stalker.
but but here's the thing, though. I played a little bit of that game. It definitely has that Dark Souls feel to it,
Hmm.
where you, if you die, you lose a portion of your health. I mean, you lose a portion of your experience. You got to go back to a specific point in order to do this and do that. What's interesting about it is once you also get to like the save point that's on the demo, you can actually reset like enemies respawning, so you can actually kill the same enemies over and over again in
Isn't
order to
that
collect some
isn't that like
bit of stuff.
isn't that the same thing happens like the bonfires though in Souls games?
Yes,
Okay,
yes,
all right.
absolutely. That's the thing that happens in like a lot of the Souls games where you go to a bonfire, it respawns every enemy that you killed, and that's how some bit of grinding can occur to where I immediately knew right then and there and stuff like, oh, well, if I just grind this and stuff, I'm gonna be able to level up portions of my character and do this and do that. But I was initially trying to do it because I faced off against this tiger, right? That was like a level 16 in terms of its like a spirit and shit, and I'm like, well, if it's gonna be level 16, why don't I try to get to level 60 or something like that and just do this shit? I think the action stuff is pretty fun. I mean, it definitely seems like it's going to be one of those harder type of action games. But then again, this is from the same people that put out Neo, so I definitely would expect something like that. But other than that, though, it's all right and stuff. It's not like say immediate so far. I mean, I haven't really gotten too much far into it other than like that first initial section. But I heard the the boss that you get to face off against is a definite pain in the ass.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah, like I said, I've been playing it. I've got to that boss fight. I got like really close to beating him the first time I fought him, and then it took me like 15 more tries. I finally beat the boss,
Nice.
but then there's a phase two, and I went in with like a sliver of health, and I got a few shots on him. I got decent in there, and then yeah, he kicked my ass. And then I fought him like five more times, and I didn't even get to the second one. So I want to keep playing it. I'm really liking this game. Like I like the Souls games. Like I understand why people love them so much. Like, and I just want to love them too. I just get I don't have the running into a wall mentality. I just don't have the patience for. And if you have it, good for you. I wish I did. Um, you- Definitely like yeah, like the tiger though. Like cheap trick for him. You jump on the roof. You do the jump off the roof, do the down Y spike like Link down B thing from Smash. Takes out like most of his health right there. A couple more slashes, boom, he's done. Recommend that. Quick way to level up. I definitely I want to kind of keep going and playing because it's coming. I mean, it's coming to Game Pass on Friday, so I'm at least I at least want to
Yeah.
check it out. But I'm really enjoying it. And if you beat the first boss, like you get some gear and stuff. Um, when that move over to the main game when it comes out. So yeah, I want to play more of it. I skipped a bunch of cutscenes though, and like I really didn't put any time into like the custom character stuff because it's like nothing carry like the save doesn't carry over. So I'm like I'm not gonna waste my time on that shit. I figure I'll just see it again in a week. But I don't know. I don't know. I'm enjoying it. Like I said, I like that style of gameplay. I like playing those type of games. It's just I don't.
Yeah.
I'm gonna play it. I'm sure I'll. I think I'll play a decent chunk of it. But I imagine it's one of those games where there's gonna be a point where I'm gonna hit a wall. I'm gonna get very mad, and I'm either gonna break my television or I'm gonna move on. So um, it's a matter of when that time finally comes for me. But yeah, I like the game a lot, and like I said, it's coming to Game Pass, best deal in gaming. So give it a shot. The other game though, Gables, that I have been playing,
Hmm.
Atomic Heart, also on Game Pass. So we
Yeah.
Gables, we predicted what we thought our top 10 games of the year were for 2023. We're gonna be at the end of the year. I had Atomic Heart on
Yes.
that list as a prediction for mine. Gables, I'm gonna talk to you right now. It will not be on that list. I do not like this game at all. Uh, it's something I think it's like a 74 on Open Critic, so it's like it's one of those games where it's like
Hmm.
people like it or they just like it's one of those things where it's like either you like the game or you really just don't like this game, and I lead towards a perspective of like I really don't like this game. Um, I like the idea of this game of like I'm a sucker for like
Hmm.
that Eastern European style. They always look beautiful, but they're kind of janky. But I still like and then especially in this like alternate reality of like the USSR is actually still like ultra powerful. Like they they evolve science crazy amount, and like now they have robots with AI and all this shit. Like, but the story is god awful. The main character, the voice actor, fucking sucks. Um, like they try. It's like they try to make a Wolfenstein like BJ Blazkowicz, where like he's not a good person. He's an asshole. Um, but like the dialogue and like the voice acting itself, like it's so good and like it's charming in a way where like you love the character even though he's like kind of a douchebag, but you still love the guy. Um, and they tried to hit that, and they didn't have the voice actor, they didn't have the writing there to make it work. Um,
Oof.
but like I said, I'm still intrigued by the world and all that. What is different here, like that kind of aspect of it. And the gameplay, it's like everybody's like, oh, it's Bioshock. I'm like, okay, fuck yeah, like, I'm cool for like a Bioshock USSR. I'm down for that. Um, and like the gameplay, it's not outstanding, but I didn't expect it would be like top notch. Like I'm not expecting like very well done, tight Call of Duty style shooting or power ups, but like it's not great. I heard it gets better later, but it's like how much I put like 5.5 hours into this. Like how much more fucking time to put in this thing for like it gets really good. Um, I, I it's like I heard it's like 15-hour game. Like I'm like it's like hour 12 it finally gets really good. Hour 10 but I don't know. Like I just got to the point like I beat the first like main area like underground area and like did a little bit of like once you get out of the underground area like the power up
Right.
stuff is fine. Like the weapons you get are fine. You get like I got like unlock like the electric. Like I got like I can use like electricity. You have like a glove that has like what you can like you have like you can use like ice to like freeze enemies or electricity to stun them or you can use like kinetic abilities to like grab items and like shoot it at people. Um, and you have like a electric gun that also like does damage but also stuns him as well. You have a shotgun, pistol, stuff like that. You have an axe that you can use as your melee weapon. Um, and like the gameplay is fine, but like it's like it's kind of like a frustrating part where like it's kind of like a Callisto Protocol in a way where like Callisto Protocol like the gameplay is fine when like you're fighting one or two guys at a time, but like when you're fighting like swarms of enemies, like it's not the gameplay is not like the action is not good enough to like fight a horde of enemies. Like I feel like
Right.
you're fighting the controls of this game more so than you're fighting like the enemy. You're fighting them on top of like it's not snappy enough. You're not like powerful enough. You're like this nothing is good enough to like be to make this fun. And then on top of that, like the save states in this game are pretty ass too, where like you die and like it just rewinds you 20 fucking minutes. And it's like
Oh
it's not so much
no.
like oh I have to go through these waves and minis again. It's like because the game is all about like getting your inventory and like getting upgrading your abilities. So like you're doing a lot of times scavenging, and that's the part I hate when these type of games is like redoing the scavenging part. Like if I die like fighting like a swarm of enemies, typically that's fine. It's whatever. I can redo that part over and over again and get eventually I'll get through it unless it's like a Souls game or whatever. Like it's crazy hard, but like it's a shooter game, whatever. It's like, but it's like it's frustrating when it's like I have to like redo this entire fucking area and go room to room, fucking uh, go through all the fucking shelves. And it's fast enough, but it's like it's just a pain in the ass. Like I hate doing all that again. And then you do like 10 minutes of that, then get to the fight where you die initially, do the fight, die again, do that over again. I did it like this one part where like I died like 3 or 4 times, and it was like it wasn't like bullshit dying. It was just like I just got overwhelmed. I died. It's whatever. But if I snapped right back to that point, well whatever. I kept going. But it's like I don't want to fucking go through this bullshit of like uh getting all the fucking items again, getting all this inventory again, all this loot again
Right.
to like do that. Like I don't know. And the gameplay, like I'm not having enough fun to like offset that. Because like yeah, there's games where like this shit happens, but the game is good enough, it's fun enough that you can overcome these things. But this game is just not that. Like there's a reason this game is a 74, and it's like I said, some people are gonna play this game and they're gonna really enjoy it, and there's people like me that like I said, I put 5.5 hours into it, and it's like there's stuff I like about it, but the game is I'm playing on a Series S, and that game is fucking gorgeous. Um, I
Hmm.
I like the world design. I like the idea of what this world is. Like I'm like I said, I'm a sucker for alternate history bullshit. Um, but yeah, no, I'm I was definitely felt like I was fighting through this game. And I was like, man, okay, I keep hearing it's gonna get better later. Uh, and I just like I'm not. And then I was kind of like reading more and more about the shit later on. I'm like, no, it's okay. Like I just yeah, I don't want to spoil that shit. But I was kind of reading about like what happens in the future as far as like why does this game get better or like what changes later on in the game. And I'm like, oh okay, actually that doesn't sound very good. So I was like, I'm just gonna cut ties now, save me the time, and move on because like Wolong is coming out soon. Maybe I'll get into that one. If not, like I'm watching The Office. I can watch The Office instead, or do anything else rather than this. So yeah, that's what I'm playing this week, Gables. All right, but let's get out of here. We've
Alrighty.
gone 2 fucking hours, so it's time to get out of here. Probably long. I think this is the longest podcast we've done in years. So let's get on out of here. Thank you guys so much for watching, listening. Like I said, look in the description down below. Find us everywhere: YouTube, socials, or podcast services you listen to us on or listen on. We are there. Like, follow, subscribe, 5-star reviews. Anything you do, shares can help us out. We really would appreciate it. But I was Joe. I was Tyler.
I've been Colonel Gables. Until next time, everyone, game on, and thank you for listening to another fun-filled episode of the Drunk
Hey, Gills.
Nerds podcast.
Too sweet.
Yep,
Bye, guys.
too sweet, man.